Welcome dear students. Today I am going to discuss Unit 1 Networking as per the curriculum for Computer Applications Code 165. And here I will discuss syllabus and the easy way to complete your revision work as a quick revision with these notes. Let's start. This is the syllabus. According to this syllabus, you can have the questions related to these terms. The pattern, the exam pattern I will discuss after discussing this chapter. So you can have a case study based question, you can have 1 marker and 3 marker questions from this unit. Internet, World Wide Web, web servers, web client, website, web pages, web browsers, blogs, newsgroup, HTML, web address, email address, downloading, uploading files from a remote site, internet protocols such as TCP IP, SMTP, POP3, HTTP, HTTPS, remote login, file transfer protocols such as SSH, Sftp, FTP, SCP, Telnet, SMTP, TCP IP. Then we have the services available on the net, information retrieval, locating sites, using search engines and finding people on the net. Then we have web services. Under the web services, you have chat, email, video conferencing and the services such as e-learning, banking, e-shopping, e-reservation, e-governance, e-groups and social networking. Then mobile technologies, SMS, MMS, 3G and 4G. Now I'll start with the internet. Internet is a worldwide network of networks. So, network of computers is called internet. It is composed of large number of smaller interconnected networks. The use of the internet has grown tremendously over the past few years. Now, if you think during these past 2 years, the increase of internet has use of internet has increased, and it has served us a great help in the education. So it has become important part of everyday's life, from being a small network set up by the US Department of Defense to connect 4 computers and different sites. The internet has a long way. Second is World Wide Web. This is an example of an information protocol or a service that can be used to send and receive information over the internet. It supports multimedia information, it supports hypertext, it supports GUI based interface. The World Wide Web is an example of an information protocol that works using a client-server software design, a service that uses client-server design. This requires 2 pieces of software to work. Now, what is a client server? Say we need a client software. Client software, for example, it is a web browser to request information, and server, that is a web server, to answer requests and provide their information. Most web applications are designed in this way. For example, if you say youtube.com, so you will go to browser first, then you will search for any information, and the particular server for which you are making request to have the information give you the response. So our World Wide Web is based on client server software architecture, and this is consists of 2 parts: client software and server software. Client software is web browser and server software is web server. Next is the web server. Web server delivers the content such as web pages using the HTTP over the World Wide Web. So what is web server? It delivers the content such as web pages using which protocol? HTTP protocol. If you can see, whenever you search anything, it starts with the HTTP because browser supports this HTTP protocol, and the server use this protocol to give you the content. Next is the web browser. Web browser is a client that initiates communication by making a request to a specific resource. The server then responds with the content of that resource or an error message. Now server gives you the content whenever you request for any information. Either you get using a website, either it gives you a content or it gives the error message. When it gives the error message, if it is unable to provide the content due to any reason. Next is the uses of internet. You can write here any uses. At least you can revise 2 uses of internet, 3 uses of internet, because most of the time it is asked about the right 2 uses of internet. So first, email on the internet is used as a medium for communication. Email is used by the medium of communication across the globe. Business and institution use internet for carrying out electronic commerce, including buying, selling, so transactions for the e-commerce. Individual uses internet for communication, internet, or for finding the information. Like we use Google search to find the information. We use internet for ourselves also. We use internet for teaching. We use internet for business. So you can write any 2 good uses of internet. Next is the protocol. See, protocols are the set of rules that we follow to communicate. So just the way we follow certain rules while communicating or traveling on the road, similarly rules or protocols have to be followed for effective network communication. Protocol is a set of rules used by a computer. So what is a protocol? It is a set of rules used by computers on a network to communicate with each other. So using protocol, we communicate with the, 2 machines, they communicate. So for example, the first protocol we are discussing is HTTP. This stands for Hyper Text Transfer Protocol. So you have to learn the full form this. It is a protocol which is used between a web server and a web browser for transferring HTML pages. Now for transferring HTML pages means whenever you request using a web browser, for example, if I say www.bookmyshow.com, so it will give a request to the Book My Show web server. It shows us the requested HTML pages. So in this way HTTP works. Next is the TCP IP. So children, please do this full form wholeheartedly, because sometimes children, they write this as a wrong. So this is a transmission control protocol. Most of the students, they write transfer control. So that is wrong. The correct answer is transmission control protocol oblique internet protocol. So this protocol work in pair. The TCP is a protocol that is used along with the IP to send data over the internet. The information is transmitted across the internet in the form of bundles, that is called packets. TCP is responsible for dividing the data into packets before they are sent and for reassembling the packets when they arrive in the destination. Then IP is a set of specification that determines the best route of the packets across the internet so that packets reach their destination address. So this is the work of TCP IP. So this we have discussed already. Next is the FTP. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. FTP defines a method for transferring file from one computer to another over a network. So FTP, there are FTP clients. So for example, if we have to update our website, so for that we use FTP client so that we can upload our data on our website. So there are like FileZilla. FileZilla is one of the FTP example of FTP client. So this the full form is a file transfer protocol, and it is used for transferring one file from one computer to another computer. Next, SMTP. SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, is a push protocol which is used to send the mail, whereas POP or IMAP are used to retrieve the mail. So here the major point to notice is the send. SMTP is used to send the mail, whereas POP and IMAP are used to retrieve the mail. So note down this point. Then we have the SSH protocol, which is also known as secure shell. So this is the method for secure remote login from one place to another. It also provides alternative option for strong authentication, and it protects the communication security and integrity with strong encryption. So this provides you the security, the SSH protocol, which is also called secure shell. Next comes the Sftp, which stands for SSH file transfer protocol or secure file transfer protocol. Then we have, it is a separate protocol packaged with SSH, right? So SSH is secure shell. Then secure shell file transfer protocol is Sftp, which is packaged with this and similar works like a secure shell for a secure connection for transferring the files. Next is the Telnet. Telnet is a user command and an underlying TCP IP protocol for accessing remote computers. Through Telnet, an administrator or another user, they can access someone else's file computer remotely on the web. HTTP and FTP protocol allows you to request a specific file from remote computer but not to be actually logged on to as their computer. For example, if we see the team viewer, AnyDesk, they are such kind of application where we can give, where our control is in the hand of other person who is controlling our system remotely. So that is the Telnet. It's a user command. Then we have a terminologies which are related to internet. First one is URL. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. It refers to an address on the internet, like we have our addresses, we have our home address through which our letters or people they reach to us. Similarly, URL is the address on the internet. The documents and multimedia, they can be accessed on internet through their URLs. For example, the website of Microsoft has an address or URL called Microsoft.com, and like Google.com. So we have web addresses and these are the URL address. For this, HTTP starts with this. So types of server or protocol, the first tells you the type of server or protocol. If FTP is here, then this is the file transfer protocol. If you are opening any file which is on your computer using a browser, in place of HTTP, file is written. Then the domain name or the internet hosting the website. Then we have the default or index.html. It specifies the location of the file on the server. After that, we have domain name system, which is the friendly naming system, because we cannot remember the IP address. Like for example, our home addresses are also in the form of 8 degrees and radians kind of. So we cannot remember that. So we have a name, we have an address of our place. So that in the same way, we have a DNS, domain name system, which is a friendly naming system for giving address to web server and web pages. The domain name system gives every server a memorable and easy to spell address. Simultaneously, the domain names hide the real technical IP address which most viewers are not interested in. So we remember www.google.com, amazon.com. So the domain name is given as per the product or as per the service also. Next point is domain names are organized from right to left with general descriptors to the right and specific descriptors to the left. It is like family surname to the right and specific person name to the left. These descriptors are called domains. The top level domain or parent domain is to the far right of a domain name. Mid-level domain are in the middle. Level of domains are separated by dots. For example, livewire.com. Livewire is the mid-level domain and .com is the top level domain. So here are some top level domains are like for example .com stands for company or commercial organization. EDU stands for educational institutes. GOV stands for government organizations and MIL stands for military sites. NET stands for network organization or ORG. Now if you see the CBSE addresses, CBSE academics.nic.in. Now NIC is National Informatics Center. So we have educational sites with the NIC. Then we have domain as country-wise .in for India, .au for Australia. Then www is one of the most popular service on the internet and it is collection of interconnected pages. The various pages are connected using links. It is based on client-server architecture, which I have already explained. The client is a web browser which accesses the pages on the web server using a set of protocols called HTTP. HTTP is a protocol used between a web server and a web browser for transferring HTML pages. Then we have a website, which is a location on a web server. A website is a collection of many web pages including home page. Home page, it is the top level page of a website. When a website is opened, the home page is displayed. This is the very first page. Whenever you open a website, it opens a very first page, which is called a home page, and all the links to the this website are given on the home page. Web browser is a software that navigates through the World Wide Web to display web pages. It requests a page from the web server. Examples are Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome, Apple Safari, Mozilla Firefox and Opera. So these are the web browsers, and Mozilla Firefox is the open source web browser. Web server, this makes information available, desired page available to the web browser. Blogs are short form of web blog. A blog is a website or part of a website that contains personal diary type entries in reverse chronological order. Reverse chronological order means whatever entry you do, means latest entry will come first and the oldest entry will come at the last. The content of blog may be in the form of text, audio, video, etc. You can create your blog using blogger.com, blog.co.in or wordpress.com, which allows you to create blogs for free. Next is the newsgroup. Newsgroup refers to the online community, bulletin board, or wherein users can post message, reply to messages or just read the message. It is also called a forum, and this is created to connect the like-minded people together or discussion or for discussion for a particular topic. And web address, it is the address or URL of the website. For example, cbseacademic.nic.in, google.co.in are the addresses. So URL are of two types, absolute URL and relative URL. Services available on internet. So first one is search engine. A search engine is a software that searches the web pages for information on a particular topic. So maximum times we are using search engines for finding out the information. The topic on which information is required is specified in the form of keywords. The search results are usually displayed as a list of links to the pages on which the keywords were found. So if you search anything in the Google, so you see the page with the blue color links because the very first search you see is based on your keywords. Some of the popular engines are Google, Yahoo Search, Bing, Alta Vista and Lycos. Next part is the social networking. This you use daily like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Orkut is obsolete now, but this was in the few years back, this was very popular before coming of the Facebook. So social network site is used to build online communities of people who share common interests. People use them every day to chat, play games and connect with friends and family members. Example, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. Here you can add Instagram also. Downloading and uploading, making a copy of the requested web page or file or document on your local computer is called downloading. Uploading is the reverse process. It's transmission of a file from one computer to another, usually large computer system. From a network user's point of view, to upload a file is to send it to another computer that is set up to receive it. That is called uploading. Next comes the FTP. It stands for File Transfer Protocol, and this is a method of transferring files from one computer to another over a network. Using FTP, a client can upload, download, delete, rename, move and copy files on a server. A user typically need to log on to the FTP server, although some servers make some or all of their content available without login, also known as anonymous FTP. Anonymous FTP means where you don't have any credentials. Web services, the very first web, you also use so many web services. Daily we are using, so chatting, real-time textual communication between two users through computer is called chat. Now, how it is different from email? In email, the real-time presence is not required. You just send the email and the person can see at their own choice, but chatting is the real-time textual communication. So chatting has become a popular way for people to communicate with others. Chatting can be used to send instant messages. Instant messages such as Yahoo Messenger and Google Hangout let us chat with people in our friends list, etc. Very popular is WhatsApp Instant Messenger, which is very commonly used. People use WhatsApp to send text messages, documents, images, etc. Video chatting through Skype, Apple FaceTime is also very popular. Next comes the video conferencing. It allows people at two or more locations to communicate and interact with one another via audio and video transmission. It makes use of computer network to send audio video data from one place to another. Video conferencing is very useful for business meeting, educational training, healthcare conferences, etc. People at geographically separated locations can see and hear each other using microphone, camera, speaker, TV or a computer screen. Now these are few of the requirements of video conferencing with the internet connection. The usage of video conferencing has increased over the year because of the following reason. Organization using video conferencing to conduct meetings between the branches which are very far away. This saves travel time and expenses. Also, meetings can be organized in a short notice, so no booking for boardroom or conference halls required. Doctors and scientists can use video conferencing to discuss medical problems and share the experience. So these are the advantages of video conferencing. Long distance education or training programs make use of video conferencing to enable students to attend classroom lectures, interact with instructors like anymeeting.com, vcnow.in allow people to hold video conferencing sessions. Next is the email. Email stands for electronic mail. It is the most widely used to send messages electronically through computers on a network. For email, we need an email address. Like for getting some letters or information, we need our home address. Similarly, email address identifies a location to which email messages can be delivered. It has two parts separated by @ symbol. Username on the left side of @ separator is a username. A username cannot have blanks. Then second portion is domain name, which identifies the server or host or network that services your email. It is sometimes called the email server. An email message contains the following fields: to, subject, CC, to subject, to means to whom you are sending the mail. Subject is the subject of your mail. It should be properly written. Body of the message contains the message which should be ethical and not derogatory, not harsh. You have to follow the rules of sending email. Then we have CC. CC stands for carbon copy. This is a list of email address to whom a copy of the message is to be delivered. BCC stands for blind carbon copy. Their list is not visible here. List of recipients is not visible to the person who receives this message. So difference between CC and BCC. In CCC, the person can see the list which is to be delivered or which delivered to the person, whereas in case of BCC, the list will not be visible. So these are the example of email. Next comes the advantages of email are the low cost. It is very cost effective because you need not to pay any extra cost. Speed, second advantage is speed. It is very fast. Waste reduction, there is paper wastage, and records are also maintained. If you are giving reply or you are giving trail mail, many companies are using this as a part of communication. Every mail is a part of the previous mail, so that is called trail mail. And in this way you have records of files in the mail. Limitation is the hardware requirement. You need computer and internet connection, hasty medium and hard to convey emotions. When we are talking to any person, we can convey our emotion, but in case of this email, we cannot convey our proper emotions. So our text should be like that. It should not harsh. Sometimes people, they can misunderstood the content. So difference between email and chat, you should know chat is real time, whereas email is not real time. Then we have email and video conferencing difference. It is used to send messages, whereas a video conferencing is two-way video phone conversation between two or more participants is called video conferencing. Next is a sender and recipient need not to be online at the same time, but in case of video conferencing, they should be online at the same time. Next is a social networking. A social network site is used to build online communities of people who share common interests such as Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the people, they used to chat and play games, connect with others all the day. So this is very popular amongst kids. Next comes the e-governance. This involves applications which are used by government agencies, organizations to provide better governance. This refers to the government's use of information technology to exchange information and services with citizens, business and other government arms of government to reach the citizen in an effective and transparent manner. Several websites have been set up by the government where services like birth, date, certificate registration, railway inquiry, ticket booking, submission of RTI and so on are provided. These websites are accessible to anyone and people can use these to get guidance, information and services without paying any money. For example, http india.gov.in is known as the National Portal of India. This website not only gives the information about various schemes, initiatives introduced by the government, but also allow the users to apply online for various services provided by the government. Like for passport you have, for income tax filing you have the site incometaxindia.gov.in. Next comes the e-commerce. Nowadays people have started shopping on internet. Buying, selling of goods, services over the net is called e-commerce. It includes online shopping, banking, trading of stocks and bonds, electronic ticket booking and so on. The popularity of e-commerce is growing as people find it convenient to compare different products and buy them for the comforts of their home. Another reason for the growing popularity of e-commerce is the improved security in online transactions. E-shopping activity is for buying goods or services over the internet. So you have e-banking activities, Flipkart, Amazon.com, etc. E-learning is the use of technology to enable people to learn anytime, anywhere, and this is a broader term, e-learning. It includes all forms of technology used in learning and teaching. For example, the use of multimedia CDs, computer-based teaching and learning, or internet or web-based learning or the training comes under the e-learning. Learning through the internet helps in imparting knowledge by overcoming the limitation of time, distance and resources. So many websites like Coursera, edX and NPTEL etc. are providing the learning online. Some websites like W3 School, GCF Learning, they offer free tutorial on topics related to technology. Next is the e-groups, is a free small group service that allows you to easily create and join email groups. Email groups offer a convenient way to connect with the same interest and idea. For example, Google Group. In Google, there is option groups where we can connect with the others to share our idea like a forum. Next is the mobile technologies, is SMS, short message service. It's a text-based service and uses standardized communication protocols. Next is the multimedia messaging, MMS, is a standard way to send messages that include multimedia content to and from a mobile network, mobile phone over a cellular network. Next is 3G. It stands for short for third generation. It's a wireless mobile telecommunication technology. So you have to see the third generation is wireless mobile telecommunication technology, which is upgrade of 2G and 2.5G GPRS network for faster internet. Next is the 4G, which is a broadband cellular network technology. 5G is meant to deliver higher multi-Gbps peak data speeds ultra low latency, more reliable, massive network capacity is increased availability of a uniform user experience to more users. So this was all about in the unit 1. Thoroughly read this. Now I will discuss the questions of this unit. Now here I am showing you the this year current year sample paper where you have questions from both the unit. Here I am discussing only unit 1 questions. What do you understand by the term URL? How it is different from an email address? Here you have a choice. So let's see this answer number 2. URL stands from Uniform Resource Locator, which is a web address. It identifies a resource, whereas an email account address is an account on a mail server. Main difference is that email address can @ sign, whereas a URL never has it, and an email address does not start with a www. Now it's your choice whether you have a line in between or you can write in the form of this paragraph. So there is one mark for this correct answer, what is URL, Uniform Resource Locator and its use, and second is 1 mark for the correct answer of this. Then what do you understand by newsgroup, how it is different from a blog? So a newsgroup is an internet based discussion group organized for a particular topic, say cyber safety. People can post messages on the group regarding the topic. Anyone can join a discussion group. A blog is more like a website where an individual or group of people write something related to their interests such as sports, culture, food, etc. It is usually owned by an individual and you can only post or comments on a blog if they allow. Next question is for this is this one. This is from unit 2. Next question. So out of these 4 questions, you have one question from unit 1 where you have choice also. Next in the section B, define internet and tell its 2 uses and how it is different from www. So internet is a worldwide web network of interconnected computer networks and other devices. It provides easy way and fast, convenient way to access any type of information. It uses TCP Ip. So 2 uses, you can write any 2 uses, educational use, e-commerce use, anything. So it is different. How it is different? The World Wide Web are the pages that you see when you are at a device and you are online, whereas internet is the network of interconnected computers on which the web is based. Next question is your e-learning and its 2 merits. E-learning is a learning system which makes uses of electronic resources, mainly computer and internet, to teach and encompasses everything from traditional classroom that incorporate basic technology to online schools and universities. You can write any 2 advantages of e-learning, and it can also teachers can also learn how to use technology to teach. Students can learn anywhere, anytime, from anyone also as per their convenience. So half of mark for each merit. Third one is also from this. So you can see section B is entirely from unit 1. So how a web browser is different from a web server? You have to explain any 2 differences showing this. So the answer, if you see, of this, a web browser is a software. Definition of web browser is given. Then how it is different from a web server? So web browser is a software that can be used to browse and display pages. For example, you use Google Chrome or Edge. So you are using a browser for find out the pages and it allows you the pages to display over internet, whereas a web server is a software which provides these documents when requested by the web browser. So web browser make request to the web server. A web server send request to web servers for web services, and a web server respond to these requests by providing the required documents. I have told you the example: Google Chrome, web browser; Apache server is a web server. Difference between 3G and 4G is given. 3G is wireless mobile telecommunication, whereas 4G is broadband cellular network technology. A typical 3G phone can be downloaded files at a maximum speed of 21 Mbps, whereas in 4G you can use up to 1 GB. And here you have a question from each unit. This is a long answer question. This one is the case study based type question, and here a case study will be given. On that basis, you have to answer any 4 sub questions out of 5. Mr. Harish, accountant, works in an IT firm. Due to pandemic, he has been asked to work from home. He has set up his online office at his home. He has purchased a laptop, web camera, and other accessories. Now he has started working from home and performs his various duties online. Mr. Harish, first question, Mr. Harish wants to hold an online meeting with a company's client such that he can interact. So which web services should he avail? Here he will avail the video conferencing. Mr. Pritish sent an email to Harish requesting him to prepare the balance sheet. Which network protocol is involved during the his email communication? So in this way you will write the answer. There are two mail protocols will be assigned: SMTP, which is used for sending, POP3 or post office protocol, which is used for receiving. Next question is, the company's financial head needs to send some high security document to Mr. Harish. He uses an application which supports the dash protocol. So that is the SSH, secure shell protocol is used, or you can use Sftp also. In order to gather some information on latest accounting trends, Mr. Harish to do some research. He can do this by locating sites online using a search engine or a web browser. Joseph, the company secretary, sends a link to Mr. Harish which contains important file. What should he do in order to access the files? So he can download the files from the links. So children, I have discussed Unit 1 networking concepts and the related sample paper questions in this video. So try to solve the questions using the concepts taught in this video. Thank you so much. All the best.